So day 4. By now you're starting to come to terms with the fact that, wow, this actually happened. One of the things that we need to make sure is that for all those years that you've paid for insurance, that you get paid everything you're due when you have this large loss, because it's not right that you only get partially of what you paid for. Most of us pay, renter's insurance or business insurance or homeowners insurance our whole life. So when we need it, we want to get everything that we're due. One of the things that you need to determine is how your insurance company handles contents claims. It's usually one of 2 ways. Some insurance companies, even large ones, will just hand you a list and say, hey, you're on your own, fill out everything that you think is damaged on here and submit it. Others will assign a contents adjuster or even an inventory company to come out and help you inventory your property, your contents. What's really important is that you're very, very, very detailed. You need to count every piece of damaged property, not just opening a drawer in a kitchen and saying, hey, one drawer of kitchen utensils and putting a $50 value on it, because that's what your insurance company will likely do. You need to count each fork, each knife, every piece. It's important to come to an agreement with your adjuster on what needs to be cleaned versus replaced, okay? Because many, many times insurance companies want to clean as much as possible because that's cheaper than replacing. They'll try and clean electronics and clothing and anything, furniture, anything that you can imagine, they will try and clean. And the reality of it is, most times that stuff needs to be replaced even after it's cleaned. Well, if you have a $20,000 cleaning bill and you're not happy with how everything is cleaned, you're still paying that out of your content limit, and then they'll replace it on top of it. So it's your money that's being spent. You need to be aware of that. So make sure you understand and you can argue correctly of what needs to be replaced versus what needs to be cleaned, and that your scope is right on your details. You're counting every paperclip, and you might think that's funny, but that's reality. You've spent an entire life gathering contents in your home. You have no idea how much money you've actually spent to get to this point in your life. So it's not right that you don't get everything you deserve. So make sure you pay a lot of attention to the contents on your claim. Here's a great example. Let's say you had a fire and it didn't burn the whole entire home down, it just burnt a portion of it, and the rest of the home had pretty heavy smoke damage. Many times they'll want us to come in and clean your electronics. Well, smoke has an acidic property to it, and when smoke is in a home, it's incredibly pervasive. It gets in every nook and cranny, worse than you can ever imagine. It also attaches itself to the motherboards and the circuitry of electronics. When that smoke attaches itself to the circuitry of an electronic, even if it's cleaned, you've had a period where there's been an acidic-like property that's eating away at those metals. And yeah, they clean it and the TV works great, but 6 months after your claim, all of a sudden it stops to work. You call up to ask for a new TV, you're not getting it, because you can't prove definitively where that damage came from. So as a general rule of thumb, any electronic that has smoke damage on it needs to be replaced. You're insured for replacement costs to replace your property from where you bought it. So don't let your insurance company pay you for the exact same item at Walmart, that's $100, if you bought it at Williams and Sonoma for $300. I don't really care that it's exactly the same. I don't care. They owe you for where you bought it. So if you are a shopper that shops at higher end stores versus lower end stores, make sure all the pricing that they're providing you is from stores that you actually shop at and not lower priced wholesale, Costco, that sort of stuff. Make sure that you're being paid for where you bought the stuff. It really adds up to a big difference at the end of the claim, and you deserve it. So one of the ways you can do that is you can write a profile for yourself. These are where I shop. This is where I grocery shop. This is where I clothing shop. This is where I get my electronics. Build a profile and then make sure that your inventory list that you're getting paid for is consistent with your shopping profile. Yeah, sure, you're going to have outliers where you bought this at Walmart and this at a higher end store, but in general, most people are creatures of habit and they shop within the same number of stores. So you're a Walmart shopper, you're a Macy's shopper, you're a Target shopper. Make sure that profile makes sense and everything is in line when you present your personal property claim. Again, we understand how much information this is, and it's incredibly overwhelming, and contents in particular is a ton of minutia. It's a ton of work. In the body of this description of this video, we'll put a link to a PDF that gives you an idea of what a contents report should look like. It'll have all of the categories on it, where you can kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. All right, it's not uncommon for a home of a decent size to have 5,000 line items on it. Make sure you're doing that level of detail, because you paid for it once, you deserve to be paid for it now. If you have any questions, if there's anything that we can do for you, again, we're here to serve you any way that we can. You can reach us, phone number, email, message us, comment on the video. Anything we can do to help, we're here for you.